Hi, everybody. So, I have just finished the book, Shenaz, uh, and it's very, very relatable. So, for women, I think for girls, it's almost like a coming of an age story
Okay.
of a young girl, from 4 to 40s now. So, she has literally written it out there. It's very intriguing. So I want to ask you, how did this start off? Because to write a book about relationships and that too breakups, what was that light bulb that worked in your head that made you start it all?
So I always loved telling stories. Since I was a little kid, I used to take 10 rupees from the adults and be like, give me 10 rupees, I'll tell you a story. So I always loved telling stories, part fact, part fiction. It was always my nature. And so I think everything I've done in life, even MTV or acting, is kind of telling stories as well. Now, my travel logs and my whole YouTube persona as well. But I love writing. And I actually always wanted to be a screenplay writer. And I did write a screenplay. It's called Love Ka The End. Yashraj produced it. But then I didn't get paid that well. And then the director made it in his own way. And I didn't feel like it was. I couldn't write what I wanted to write because actually I'd written another screenplay called Dreading My Wedding. But they liked the way I write, but they wanted me to write what they wanted me to write. So I thought, let me write a book because I want to tell stories. I have met so many people in my life, men and women, but I wanted to tell a story about this girl from when she was 4 to 40 and all the different boys she meets along the way and how they leave some kind of recipe, which is a life lesson, and how she grows up into this woman with all these life lessons.
Yeah, so well, since you mentioned screenplay, so this book itself rolls like that, it's almost like a screenplay. You kind of see the character, the protagonist going through all the phases, and it goes on. I would say this can have a sequel, right? So you've
Yes.
written a screenplay, in fact. Could you
Yes.
tell us about the format? So the book has a format. Each chapter ends with what has she learned from it. There are gratitude points, I mean, in every chapter. Could you tell about that?
Okay, so every chapter starts with a question. Okay, and the questions are things like, what are the rules of a breakup? Can a boy be threatened by a girl's success? Is there any logic in love? Questions like that we all can sit and talk about, healthy, unhealthy, toxic. What's your relationship spectrum? So each chapter starts with that. And then we go into a little short story of whatever time she's in her life and whatever boy she meets and what happens at the end of the story. So it all starts, every story has a beginning, middle, end, right? And we always romanticize our beginnings, especially when we're in a relationship. We're like, oh my God, everything is perfect. This guy is amazing. I'm going to marry him, you know, and we're going to live happily ever after. Then after 2 years, you start. Okay, sorry. So then after 2 years, you actually see, oh, the person has these habits. I don't know if it goes with mine. I don't know. You start questioning things, right? So you kind of sleepwalk your way through the middle, and then there's the end. A lot of most stories have an end as well. And then we always feel like the ends are the worst times in our lives. But and me too, I'm the worst breaker upper, which is why I thought of writing this book about breakups, because it's to remind me and you that there's always another chapter. So the end, we always feel so bad, we're so distressed, we think it's the worst time. But somehow, if I think of my life, all the best things of my life have happened after a breakup. I've always done something like I wrote the book after a breakup, So it's always after something bad comes something good or some kind of art. In the olden days, they used to paint. I mean, even now they paint, they write poetry, as in some people write stories. So this is my thing. Oh wait, sorry, you were
Yeah,
asking about the
so
format.
yeah.
Sorry, I went on a tangent. So yes, so they all start with a question, then comes the story, and then at the end of every chapter is a lesson learned. So what she learned from that, a lesson learned. And then there is, where is he now? Because that person exists and he is somewhere. So we always wonder, where's that person now? So there's, where's he now? Then there's three thank yous and a sorry. Because even if the relationship was terrible, the person cheated on you, it was horrible, blah, blah, blah. There is something you're grateful for. So 3 thank yous and a sorry. There's a sorry as well because you have some part to play in that breakup or in the relationship. And then there is things she misses. Like, I miss this, this, this.
And that makes it quite a nice, easy read, So
Yeah.
it gives you, it's almost like a summarizing it at the end of it, and then looking forward to the next chapter.
Yeah.
And likewise, it's very intriguing that it is connected to recipes. So I think in almost every chapter, you've connected with food. So I'll
Yeah.
just read out something. Meeting the right guy at the wrong time is like being served the South Indian thali when you've just finished a mediocre meal and you don't have place for another bite.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
That's like that's this. So I love South Indian food. By the way, it's my favorite kind of food in the world. After traveling the world, I'm telling you, South Indian food is just, there's nothing like it. But meeting the right guy, the girl meets the right guy, but it's a wrong time. So that's like eating getting this big thali in front of you, and you've just eaten this airplane food. And you're full with that, and now you get this amazing thali, and you're like, oh no. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So I think in all phases, I think sadness, despair, you're excited, everything connects with some kind of food, which for a foodie as well, I loved it while reading it.
Great.
Also, Shenaz, I'm sure as an author, and you've said part fact and part fiction, you've definitely taken inspiration from your life. But how did you draw that fine line between fact and fiction? Because to come out with so many, I think 22 breakups, if I'm not wrong. So to come out in a very judgmental Indian society with a book like this, how did you do that? I mean, we women are really seeking advice.
So wait, what's the question? That how did I do it with the judgmental thing? I mean, I don't care really what people think of me, which is a good thing. So
I love that part. I think, see, at the moment I said I was planning, I was reading this book, okay? So people saw me reading it because I'm part of the brand. So a lot of them, oh, really? You're doing a session with her? She's a travel vlogger. And then, you're there in Bombay, but the ripples have come all way far here down south, right? So I think to do this through a book to young girls is just amazing.
Thank you.
So I have the excess contacted you, by the way, because you have written a lot of those, stories, which I don't know, the people who will be reading it will understand.
So it's part fact and part fiction. But yeah, there are, obviously you always take from your life, right? Some I've taken from my friends' lives as well. But yeah, there are, like, I have gotten a few texts from exes saying cheap perfume and sending me a sad face.
So I'm sure everyone understood. It was, I think the characters are
maybe they felt like it was, and then I was like, that was not you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for them, but then I think this is a learning process. So as I read each chapter, there is definitely a letting go.
Yes.
Yes. I think you've taken lessons and moved on. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, letting go is a hard thing for everybody, including me, obviously, which is why I'm writing this book. Yeah, what's the question?
About the process of letting go, how you penned it down.
It was a girl's life from when she's 4 to 40 and all the different boys, right? So it's like, it's after, I didn't want to write the sad there's nothing about like after the breakup, it's over. You see her in the next chapter meeting a new guy. So it's not like you're not seeing her when she's sad and she's upset and she's trying to get out of it. And that process is not there. Those are the parts that are left out. We just have the relationships. Like, okay, she has this relationship. It ends. And now she's in the gym working out. She's still a bit sad, but she's trying to forget. And then suddenly she sees this hot guy. And there starts a new chapter.
Yeah, that's how this book starts. Actually, you're celebrating the end. I remember reading that clearly.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the journey, going through the relationship. But no one talks about the end,
Correct.
You are celebrating the end in every chapter.
Yes, because the end is what makes us who we are. Really, we are. I mean, the end is what, end of everything, even like end of a job makes you who. I remember, and I've even written about the MTV thing. This girl has kind of my life, And every job, for example, I was at MTV for 10 years. And when the job ended, it was the worst breakup I ever had because I didn't know what to do. I was straight out of college. I didn't know what to do with my life. I thought it was over. So it was the worst. So that, but then that made me do other things. I started painting. I started doing all kinds of things, trying to figure. That's when I started writing Dreading My Wedding, that first screenplay, because I didn't know what to do. I tried many other things. So I think that makes you grow. Every end makes you grow.
So the part where you had to part ways with MTV, all that is real fact, right? So for me also,
Yes.
it was
Yes.
tough to read that. So have you gone through it? Because when we see you on screen, you're all that bubbly person who is always happy. It's hard to imagine you going through a down phase.
But for human being, yeah, of course, everyone goes through ups and downs in life, and yeah, I don't know. What is the question?
Yeah, no, I make it easier
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
You've written about 22 breakups. Okay,
Right.
so is there hope left?
Yes, of course. There's always hope. That's what the book is about. There's always new. There's always hope.
So I'm sure it's a message out to a lot
And
of
the
people.
first boy she meets was when she was 4. So it's like this boy she meets when she's in nappies, and he's so cute, and he has the best bum with the nappies and everything. And then she's like in love, and he looks at her, and she looks at him, and then she smiles, but she has no teeth because she's a baby. And he gets scared. He runs. She doesn't see the signs. She runs after him, and then he hits her on the head with a watermelon. And that was her first breakup.
Yeah.
So, and that lesson learned from that is boys can hurt.
So again, there's a lot of universal things you've written out here. So I'm sure it doesn't even stay with India. So any person who has a human experience will relate with you. So you've
Thank you.
spoken, yeah. So that's what something I really found about the book. And you've written many points that I've noted down about how the idea. Do you fall in love with the idea of a person or with a person?
Yeah.
And you start finding things good only when it ends.
Yes.
So there are so many factors universally is understood. So
Yeah.
I'd like you to talk about that.
Yeah. So the first one was that what was it?
Yeah, I think somewhere in the second or third
Huh,
chapter you
what did you
mentioned
say?
about
What
that,
was the
about the idea of a person or the person.
Oh yeah. That's a universal known fact. Like we fall in love with the idea of who this person can be. Like, oh my God, this guy is perfect. If only he didn't have this horrible temper and didn't blow up every time I said something, he would be great. Maybe he can get rid of this temper and we can live happily ever after. so yeah, we always fall in love with that thing. Oh, but everything else is great. And you're falling in love with what he could be. Imagine if he was actually calm and not anxious or whatever. This idea is in our head. Of course, we are not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. But in our head, we see that person as something
Yeah,
else, and then we go through a thing. But we don't. Everybody's flawed. You just have to figure out what flaws you're okay with and not okay with.
So do you really have that list, Shenaz, where you are finding something with a person and then you go down and write, okay, if he was, he didn't have this quality, I'd have liked him better. So you really do keep notes.
No. I mean, in our head, like we have these
Alright,
things, right? So I'm sure, like, if I ask you who is the last guy you
Yeah.
dated, yeah.
No, I get that
What was
totally.
the thing that you didn't
That's
like
where the
about
whole
him?
that's why over the phone also I was telling you, I am like, did you really go through all that?
Well, that's for you to guess.
So see, you've moved from, you started with MTV and you acted, you're an actor, you do, now you're into travel vlogging and you're writing. So even you have shifted careers, you had
Yes.
mentioned about that.
Yes.
So is it because you're searching for something, or is it that you think you have a lot more to do, your capacity is much more?
Well, I feel like I'm a storyteller, like I said in the beginning. So everything is about telling stories. And I feel like you're not meant to do one thing your whole life. It gets boring. Even the best job in the world, or even like travel content creation, which I love and loved much more 5 years ago, at some point becomes like, okay, now I've done it. It's great, and I'm doing the best, and I am great at this now. what else can I do that will challenge me? So you always feel like you can do
and
something
and
else.
this is the best time to do that. So I personally experience it as well, that you don't have to stick to one thing. You don't
Yeah.
have to have your identity connected to your profession or your career. You can just, like you said, you're a storyteller, you can
Yeah.
say it in different forms.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what you're doing
I
now.
like to do different things in life. Yeah, I my identity is tied into, I think, being a storyteller. I think that's what it is.
So you still are connected with all your MTV friends, because I see that the kind of profession also varies. So you
Mm.
are, MTV is all about fun, frolic, and all colorful, and then you move on to something called like writing, and then you're into travel vlogging. So the kind of connections you would make is also different. So how good are you with that? Keeping those.
I'm good at it, but as in the friendships, yeah, I mean, I'm not the best at keeping in touch, and I've lived all over the world actually in different parts. These guys are like all the way there; they're only seeing the back of my head. So, yeah, so I have lived in different places. I wouldn't say that I'm the best at keeping in touch, but yeah, I'm friends with everybody
You
right now
mentioned
in the park.
friendships between women also. I think
Yes.
yeah.
So there's a lot of friendships between women in the book as well that we have dialogue about. And sometimes, like for example, when she's a teenager, your worst enemies are the other girls, right? They're so mean to you. So that's also, as you see her as a teenager, she's grappling with that because she is the character in the book. Okay, so yeah.
The underhand compliments, basically they are trying to put you down. Then
Yeah,
it's
it's like
kind of.
Mean Girls. That's how it is for girls when they're growing up, right? Like when you're in college, or those. But then later on, those people become your best friends in life as well. So, or some of those people,
Yeah.
but some of those people don't, and you still hold a grudge even like 20 years later. Am I right? Right? And then sometimes you also move on because different friends have gone to a different place. So you may have really close friends, and then say you're still single, and in the book she's still single, and they're married, and they have kids, and they have other lives.
I was about to ask
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you made a character say a statement that,
Yeah.
what do I connect with you? I am
Yeah.
married, I have two kids, and you're
Yeah.
not. You're
Yeah.
single. So how does that break the friendship? Is the question. Yeah.
That does break a friendship, but also if that's how life is. Some people move on, some people, so your best friends may have a totally different life. Now they'll have their kids, and they'll be hanging out with their kids moms. Those people become their friends. You have to make, if you're single, you make new friends. So we talk about these kind of things in the book as well, where you make friends with younger people as well, and then how that goes and what that's like.
So it's like little gems of advice. I
I
think
don't
for
know if
all
it's
women,
advice. It's,
from
yeah.
experience,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
from experience.
Yeah. I don't know if it's advice or like it's more like a experience, like this happens.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
but in some point I feel that you would also learn a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
as you
That's
go through it,
good.
because
That's
you've
good. I
had that
hope so.
experience. So
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to ask you. Has anybody, since the book has been out for a while,
No,
did you
it's just out
out
like
no so
yeah,
have you
a week
had
ago.
any reader coming and speaking about it to
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Lots of people, girls especially, have said that they felt it was very relatable, or it helped them get over some breakup, or it was great. Another friend of mine actually said she was sitting outside with her dad in hospital, and she finished the book, and it helped keep her light while her dad was going through all those tests.
That's
So that
amazing.
was really
Yeah, that's
nice. Yeah.
amazing. That's the thing what I wanted to ask you, because did they approach it as a fun thing, or were they serious, or did they balance it out? And what did your parents say? I wanted to know that.
So, yeah, all the girls love it. My parents, so I was at my parents' house, and I forgot the draft. I'd written a rough draft, and I had printed it out just to see what the book would look like. And I forgot it in my parents' house, and I went away. And that night, I got a text from my dad, which was so scary. And he was like, "You've written a book about your sexcapades?" And I was
My
like, "Oh
God.
my God." And he was like, "What is this book?" And he said, "What will the guys say, and what will the people say?" And see, I don't care what people think, but my parents really care about what people think. And then my mom was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible. How could you do this to us?" So, and sadly, like what had happened was my mom picked up the book, and she opened it to some chapter where the girl is a teenager, and basically she sneaks the boy into her house while her parents are out of town and has sex for the first time on her parents' bed. So that's the page that they opened. Oh my god.
Did you just jump in and say
I did
that's the
not
part
go to their
fiction?
house after 2-3 days. I went and they were so upset. But it's over the years. It's, I mean, my parents are conservative Indian parents. Even when I did the Delhi Belly movie, if you've seen it, they didn't talk to me for 6 months. So I'm kind of used to this, but it still is very jarring. And I kept trying to tell them, listen, this is not true. How could you even think that this would happen? I'm trying to make a screenplay and all of this. Anyway, my dad took the book and he's like, I'm going to read this book. And I don't know. But he's not said anything so far. And so I'm not just even approaching the topic. Even when I put stories about the book, I hide them. They're like, I put that, I swear. I'm like, hide from Homie Treasurywala, Manik Treasurywala.
So I think that gives us a lot of peace that even you do it
Yes.
because you're someone who's very rebellious with your expression.
Oh.
If you have to go through that kind of struggle with your
Yeah.
parents, I think
Oh
we are
my
all
God.
safe.
I think
I would
whatever
say.
age you are, your parents are always going to be the same, right? Like right now, today, when I was boarding the flight, also my mom called me. You're getting on a plane and you didn't call me.
So another point, love is like a cockroach, and how's that cockroach?
So that's a line that one of the boys tells the girl. So this is the dialogue, right? And I think that's from the chapter. The chapter's name is In This World of Options,
Yeah.
Is Monogamy Too Much to Expect? So that's the name of the chapter. And this boy who she thinks that, she is out of his league. But when they start dating, he's like, wait, are we cutting out all our options? I thought this was an open relationship. So he wants that open relationship. But then he is kind of in love with her, but he's like, "Ugh, love is like a cockroach. I just want to take it off me." And she's like, scary like a cockroach. He's like, no, cockroaches are icky. Lions are scary and I feel icky. I don't want to be in love, so this is the dialogue, and
So that's where the screenplay feeling comes in. Are you going to adapt it into a web
I
series?
really hope so. I don't know if anyone's out here who can help me. But I would love to make this into a series, and I would love to be the creative director on this. And it's a girl's life when she's 4 to 40, so there'll be different actresses because it's going to be like,
Yeah. So
teenage
is there any travel book coming up now that you're into writing? You're also a travel vlogger.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not thought about it. I actually I like doing the travel videos and I like writing about relationships. And now I'm
Okay,
going
so
to make videos
as of
also
now,
about
you're
relationships.
compartmentalizing it. Yeah,
I don't
keep
know.
writing.
I don't know. I want to see what happens with this book. I want to make it a screenplay. I would love to write a next book as well. But books are it's hard work, and I want to make sure that people are reading the book and it's like going to something.
Yeah. So I think this will be one relationship you'll have forever, at least.
Yeah. This book will always. Yeah. I guess so.
Yes. So I'm sure somebody would ask questions pertaining to them. I would want it to be open to the audience to put across some questions to you.
Sure.
I think this is their opportunity to interact with you.
I just want to say something
Can I
comes
have
from
a
the
mic
breakups.
among
full
the
book.
audience, please?
This is such a pretty place, by the
Yeah,
way. I
this
just
is-
came in, like they literally just came in. Really beautiful.
I think you're yet to see a lot.
And it's not
this
that hot.
entire
It's
area.
cool and under the trees.
Well, you wait
I love
for
South
it.
India.
You wait
Yeah.
for some time.
Okay.
So the book, her book is All He Left Me Was a Recipe is right here, and she's ready to sign it for you. There will also be a book talk, if I'm not wrong, at the House of Books later. You're going to read
Yeah,
it at
I know
6,
I have a
think.
6 o'clock
6
session,
o'clock
but I don't know
session
what
you'll
I'm
be.
doing there.
Okay, you'll be reading that. So
Okay.
yeah, questions.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi.
Shenaz, big
Hi.
fan.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, like, how do you stop romanticizing things? Because, like, now I'm in my 30s and I feel like, I've done the whole ranting and all of that, and men are scum and all of that shit, but I'm still romanticizing.
Of course.
So, like,
I mean, that's
when
what
does
life
it
is about. Don't stop. Why would you want to stop? You stop, your life ends. Yeah, you have to always be excited, and that's what the book is about. That's why I've written the book. I mean, every time, that's what I was saying. Every chapter is new and fresh. And so don't let anything weigh you down or be cynical. Just look forward to the next thing. Right?
Yeah, I think that conflict of being a strong person, a strong woman, at the same time, our country, or I would say the world, speaks about being feminine as being soft and that you are supposed to be sensitive. So I think women do fight this. It's an age, I mean, age by tradition, ages, if you're strong, then that means, you're something else. I mean, I think we need to break that. So I'd love to have you, any of you, ask a question on that because I feel you do that.
Really? Oh, that's good to hear. Because yeah, you hear this term all the time, alpha woman, and you're like, what the hell is alpha woman?
Exactly.
Am I alpha woman?
So the question is, if you are a confident, strong woman, do we scare you? It's the question to all the men. I think I love it if any of the men out here, gentlemen, if you put across the question.
Do they have a mic?
Yeah.
So men, answer the question. Do strong women scare you?
Is there anyone who can come up? Yeah. So, but more from the women then.
So, what about women? So there is a chapter in the book where where it asks, can a boy be threatened by a woman's success? And that is something I think nowadays a lot of women are facing, because we meet guys, maybe we're doing really well, the guy is not doing that well, and maybe we're okay with it, but the guy, sometimes you do feel he's like, I'm happy for you, but at the same time, I'm sad for myself. And you can feel that, right? Or I'm okay with you paying, but I don't feel like a man. Or maybe he'll cheat on you with somebody who's like in college or something. Just to, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not trying to put you down, but I'm just saying that you feel. It's a question. So I want to ask this question to the men, and I want to ask this question to the women over here. Can a boy be threatened by a woman's success? Let's ask 3 boys. These guys are like, no, no. They look very like secure, and they're like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
What if you're dating somebody who is doing really, really well, paying for everything? You're living in a house, all everything. You're okay with it? Yeah.
So my sister's married. She's doing well in the US.
Yeah.
Now she moved to Canada, and
Yeah.
the husband is like a blogger.
Okay.
He writes.
Yeah.
So and he's perfectly okay with her
Yeah.
doing well, and I'm also kind of like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're too.
I don't. It doesn't matter what she's doing or where she is.
Right. Okay, that's really nice.
mean,
You
that
don't
weighs on me.
inside feel some sort of this. The different kinds of people. Sometimes guys do feel threatened. Sometimes
Some
they don't.
guys, yes. I
Yeah.
guess. So.
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe it's
Yeah?
changing.
It's
There.
their life.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, maybe it's changed. What about you
Maybe it's
girls? I want to hear from the girls as well. I want to hear from those guys on that side also. Come on, you tell me as well. Give the mic to the girls.
Yeah.
Shenaz, did you enter in your Milka World book regarding the breakups?
I was thinking someone would ask us 22 breakups, and that's
Hello? Hello?
check. Yeah, that's where I started with that question about being in a Indian society, to speak so much about breakups, relationships, and then also say it is part fact.
There may be much more than 22. 22 only fit in this book. My editor was like, can you please stop writing? I was like, okay, fine, for the sequel. Sorry? Still to be made into the next book. Yeah. So, do you has any... Okay.
So, the answer for the last question.
Uh-huh.
So, like what I said, just sit back and enjoy. So, I want to give you an example of one of my professors.
Okay.
So, he was teaching me in my engineering college, and he was graduate from CET, so the best college in Kerala. So after that, he went for a really high paying job in IBM, and he resigned after his marriage, and he joined our college, TKM College of Engineering, as a professor. So I asked him, so why did you leave your high paying job in IBM? So he said, see, the thing is, there you want to do 9 to 5 job, but my wife is having a really good job. She's a manager in a bank, and here I just come. I can just talk with you guys. So this being a really good institute, even if I don't teach you, you guys will study. So I really liked his approach, because we don't see that kind of a people, because I've encountered with many people, many marriage couples, they have a ego issue when the lady, then the women is getting having a really good job. And this a real life example, a real life couple that I've watched, and there was really a rift in the marriage relationship, and this ended when he got a really good job. So that is what is happening in the society.
So
right
the
now.
marriage ended.
No, that problem ended. The problem ended. I think
So it caused a problem. So the woman
Yeah.
was not okay with it. Are you saying?
no,
Can happen. Where she
there was,
feels
there
like
was some rift. There was some
There
rift.
is. I mean, that's how relationships are. There's always
Yeah. So
tug
on
and
that
push
note,
and
since
pull.
we mentioned so much about success,
Mm-hmm.
there's this lesson learned that you've from one chapter. Just as you would ask about someone's favorite dish or preferred cuisine, ask about their financial mindset and beliefs. So relevant in the current scenario where we are all talking about growing, and we're all being ambitious. So I don't know whether again, in the society, men are going to say, oh, come on, don't you love the person? But I think the person is the package of all, right? It's the
Yeah.
personality.
But in this, the financial mindset could be anything. Like, for example, somebody could be a full on saver. Like, they just want to save. They don't want to go to restaurants. They don't want to do. The lifestyle can be completely different, right? Even if they have this, even if they're earning the same. And then the other person's like, let's just enjoy life. Let's go out. Somebody would want to buy business class tickets, and somebody would be like, no, let's go by train. So there are all these kind of things that actually or somebody could feel like, I'll just spend, I'll buy things, but he's in debt, and you're like, why are you spending? I thought you had no money. He's like, so what? But she's like feeling that fear. So it's so many things in financial
Very
mindset.
much, very
Yeah.
much, because that's the space I think women should also step up.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
both.
can't be
It's-
strong and have the men meet all your needs.
No,
I mean,
of
it's
course not.
absolutely not fine.
No.
So you
Right now it's all
earn for
50-50.
yourself, you splurge on yourself. Your
Yeah.
money, you splurge
I
on.
really believe that the best thing in a relationship is having your separate bank accounts and
Absolutely,
spending your own money. I really think that's putting it together is just like a recipe
Exactly.
for
So I think
disaster.
we should give men also that freedom, because they have their ambitions, they
course,
have
yeah.
their dreams. So they may want to spend
if
their
you
money
wanna
on
buy
that.
some big car or something, go buy it with your money. That's fine.
With your money.
With your money. Don't spend my money on a gas guzzling car.
So yeah, so like I said, those points are the ones which I felt were gems of wisdom. Probably you wouldn't have put it across in that sense, but it comes out like that for us. Though I mean, it's a nice serious thing, packaged in a very fun, colorful wrapper, I would say.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. I really hope. I really hope more people read it.
Yeah, I think I hope this discussion will make encourage everybody to get this out from there and get it signed from you, if I may say. Yeah.
you.
So you said about making a web series.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you see the protagonist as?
So there's going to be many age groups. So I really don't know. I don't know who would be the actor. But it has to start from when they're 4 to 40, and has
It has to be a series for sure, because there's so much.
There is a lot.
There
It
is
could
a
be
lot.
a movie also. It could be a series also.
Yeah, like the gentleman has asked and you've already answered. It doesn't end here.
It doesn't end
So
here. So it's actually, it's one of those, it's like a movie that ends and then like it's not fully ended. There will be another chapter.
yeah, and you've written like Frankenstein, he comes back in the next chapter. So
Yeah.
you've mentioned that,
Yeah,
okay, he comes back.
some guys come back, like in your life, some people, some women, some men come back into your life. They've gone away, you've dated someone else, and suddenly they come back. Yes? Re-entry is possible for sure. He's so bad.
Definitely,
Yeah.
that's how life is. You
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen.
People are like, what is Frankenstein? So each chapter, the boy is named from something that, if there's the guy with the bulgy eyes, there's the guy, the roller boy, this one guy who was always on roller skates. So there's different.
So there's something good about everyone. I mean, I noticed that
Yeah,
in
of
all.
course.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
is.
yeah. That's
Why would she date him?
you.
otherwise?
Yeah, you've really written what you missed. I think at the end of the chapter, like there's something that you will definitely. I mean, you can't have everything in one person.
No, definitely. It'd be so nice if we could take one thing from someone and one thing and we make it that. But then that would be also like a genetically put together person. Who knows? In the future, Apple may come out with that.
Yeah. So that's where the importance of, I mean, the genuinity of the whole thing comes up, because I think you have not stopped at throwing out your own flaws, which is a very courageous attempt. So, yeah. So, what's that journey like, to even hear that you would have insecurities, I mean, it's a chapter for every woman. We all go
But
through
we
that.
all have insecurities, and we all have times when we're tempted to cheat. And the characters are all gray. Nobody's black, nobody's white, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I don't believe there's any right or wrong also in life. And even when one person cheats, it's not just that person's fault. It's also the other person. There is some breakdown in the relationship which has happened or something. So everyone is gray in this book.
So,
It's real. I hope I wanted to just write it real. So yeah, that's how real life is. We're all very flawed. If you look at us in the daytime, I think there's a quote by Esther Perel, who's a relationship therapist. She's amazing. And she says the things that disgust us in the day turn us on at night. And that really stuck with me. We're like, ew. And then at night, that's the sexy thing. So even boys or girls that you feel like, I would never be with that person. But then later on, you're like, oh, I actually secretly like this person. It can also be.
yeah. So, are there more questions? Because, yeah, there's one.
So, what would you like to name a person who thinks understanding woman is a waste of time, and also understanding a woman means understand the past of person? Understanding a woman means a past of waste of time.
Somebody said that to you?
Yeah,
How-
I have experience. So many experience.
Oh, but I can't label this person, but I mean, I don't know this person, but then this person doesn't want to understand, because the most important thing in a relationship is to feel seen, heard, and understood, correct?
Yeah.
That is really, I think we all as human beings, we're looking for connection with even friendships or even like work relationships or whatever it is. We want to be seen, heard, and understood. And if that person is not trying to see, hear, or understand you, then it's time to let that go and start a new chapter.
Very interesting, Shana. So I think that second book should come out, because at the end of the book you have even given indications of what the chapters would be.
Yeah, I have chapter
Yeah.
names for the
So
second
could you
book.
tell us about that? Like what you have in mind? I mean, they will definitely get the first book for sure, but tell us about the second. What you have in
I
mind?
mean, I don't really know if I'm going to do it in the same way, but if this book is a big success, then I would love to continue and basically start with all these kind of questions. The questions of today, all kinds of things. For example, if your husband is watching porn every day, is that cheating? That's just a question up for debate. Things like that. So I would love to take these questions that we all debate about and then have a short story and talk about it. So
Yes.
that's what just things. What is a situation? Firstly, what is a situationship? What are these all these new terms? Love bombing, looping, all these kind of new terms.
Yeah, so
we
that
have.
the change of phase is very very clear. You know, you how you've started up since she started writing, mentioning she was 4, right? So the different ages before
Not
Instagram,
me.
after Instagram. Oh yeah, not her. Part fact, part fiction. So it's about the phase before where you don't have texting. I mean, where you don't have Instagram or WhatsApp, and then comes the video call phase.
Yeah. And there's one chapter which says, "Is sexting the new love letter?" Because really, I think that's what the new love letter is. And the girl's boyfriend is in the bathroom all day sexting some other woman, which she finds out later. Is that cheating? Is sexting another woman that he meets on the internet? Is that cheating? Or
Yeah,
is that not?
yeah.
There
Because
are all
the
these
person hasn't
questions
met.
right now. We live in this very modern world which we don't know how to deal with. So, and there's no real answer to that. It's all up for discussion.
More questions? Because I am sure she's one of those persons who will really, really face, embrace any question and give you, yeah, that's one.
I heard this beautiful. There is a beautiful quote in Dear Zindagi, like you choose, you sit on every chair, and then you see that that chair is comfortable, and then you buy the chair. So in real life, like where is that line? Like you are now sitting on the chair and checking the chair. So you will obviously sit on many chairs, and when would you in real life, like when would you decide to buy that chair?
So, by buying the chair, do you mean like what do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like relationship
exactly.
or marriage?
I think he
Oh.
speaks about marriage or, yeah,
No.
or dating, courting someone for a while, and
Yeah,
then you,
yeah, yes.
and then you decide on the person.
Yes.
So that's, I mean, are you asking me or just in general or what is it?
For you.
For me, I mean, if I like a person, then I'm in a relation. Then I start a relationship with them. It depends.
I am sure he's asking about himself, where, where you draw the line.
You're
But
asking about yourself. Do you want to try that, chair? Well, I think nowadays it is very. There's so many options. There's so many apps now. Instagram. Then someone yesterday told me LinkedIn is the new dating app. I was like, what? And in this book, the girl's one of her boyfriends meets another girl on Words with Friends, which is a Scrabble app. So you can meet people so many places these days, right? So
and he says words excite me, and you stopped writing letters to me.
yeah, exactly. When she asked him, why did you do that? He said, you stopped writing to me. She's like, but we live together. He's like, yeah, but words excite me. Words turn me on. Now, everyone has their own little thing and their own kink, but, that's how life is.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on marriage as an institution? Do you believe in it?
my God, that's the perfect
I
response.
think the mic only went crazy. So, I don't know about how today, I mean, I'm not sure how, I can't imagine when I was in my 20s getting married to someone and lucking out. I think it's luck. I think relationships are luck. You can meet someone in your 20s who you grow together, who you understand, who you have a great time with, who you're still attracted to, all the way up till you're like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I mean, how that's just luck. So some people will luck out, and I feel like that's 1%. Or some people will get married and then they'll keep working on it, which is also hard work, and you keep working. And really kudos to those people who work at it. Like our parents' age, for parents, it was not even an option, but now it's so easy and it's such an option, and people just feel like, okay, this is not working, I'll move on to the next, which is also something that is happening. So I really don't know what the institution of marriage will be like in the future. Of in India, we are all told by our parents to get married by the time we're 30. If you don't marry by the time you're 30, 32, 33, something is wrong with you. Yeah, I have friends who are like 35, 36 who think something is really wrong with them. They're like, Shenaz, will I ever get married? Will I ever have kids? Like something wrong with me? It's not that, because they're not maybe meeting guys who want to commit that full time, or when they do meet that other guys who do, they're not so into them. It's a very hard thing. I feel that the best time to get married would probably be like 50. Because seriously,
Your
because by then
aunties
you know
will have a
yourself.
very different
Yeah, my
opinion.
aunties will have a different opinion. But I think that time you kind of know yourself, that person knows yourself, you've been through so much in life. And unfortunately, our bodies are not made in that way. If you want to have kids, you have to get married earlier. So there's a whole, it's not that easy a thing for women. Sadly, because actually, if you think about it, if you get married to someone when you're 50, 55, that's nice. You know yourself, he knows, and you know you're going to put your best foot forward because you know you've been through so much in life and you're doing it because you want to do it, not because there's a society pressure or parental pressure. So that's what I feel. And still, it's luck. Like, like it's real luck, dude. 1% of the people have everything.
Okay, I just wanted to know how are you? I just wanted to know how are you?
How sweet. I'm good. Thank you. How sweet. I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited about the book coming out. I'm very excited. Like, I literally wake up and I should go back to sleep, like, say, 6 o'clock. Sometimes you wake up and then I want to go back to sleep and I'm thinking, okay, now what can I do? What can I do? How can I promote the book? I really want this. So, actually, writing the book was far easier than promoting the book, I have to say, because writing the book just came. But promoting it is like how firstly, how do you make people read? Everyone's so distracted by their phones, so am I. So I have a book right now that I bought and I really like it, but at the same time I also somehow really like my phone.
Shenaz, about since he asked how are you, you go through a lot of trauma or you go through a lot of tough times when you end something. Let it be anything, relationships or anything. To really have the hope to go to the next is something. How is that possible? I mean, what do you have to say about that?
There's always hope. I mean, if you don't hope, you're dead. How can you not have hope? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
on that hopeful note,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you why this title. All he left me was a recipe. Why recipe?
I think when I was writing the book, I also had a really good friend who was going through a divorce. And I was going through a breakup. Right? And then she was like, oh, this, that. She was like, how in divorces they're fighting over this and that. Like, all their houses and money and all. And I was thinking, what did I get from this relationship? Well, I know how to make a great Israeli salad. So that's when I thought, all he left me was a recipe. And I was like, oh, that's a good title. So that's how I came out with it.
The recipe in each of the chapters. So you end with that. I mean, I almost try to find which recipe would she talk about now at the end of this chapter.
So it's not recipe, it's not the like the recipe, like, put so many onions and so much garlic. I'm not a great cook at all. It's basically just telling you, like, in every relationship, you have a favorite food with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your friend. When you meet your guy friends, you have a different when you meet your girlfriend. So that food is the recipe. With one boyfriend, you'll eat or biryani all the time. With one boyfriend, he's very, very health conscious, and you'll have smoothie bowls all the time. So that's the thing at the end of it. But the real recipe is the life lesson.
So did you stop eating any dish as such?
Nah. I'm trying to think. No, I never stopped any. No, I did feel sad at the end of one chapter because I really loved this peanut butter smoothie bowl. And then I broke up with a guy. And I was like, damn, does that mean I stopped eating it? And then I was like, I didn't eat it for 2-3 weeks. And then I went back and I ate it.
Yes, I think we are. Yes, we have a question because we are nearing to the end. We have two questions there.
As we are talking about eating, is that how you stay fit and so young? Because I've been seeing you for like 20 years, you haven't changed. I've become old. How do you do that?
Thank you. I don't know. God blessed me. All I can say. But yes, I am careful with my diet. I am careful with. I work out whenever I'm in Bombay, at least. Like when I'm at home, I try to do yoga, Pilates, or something every day. So I try to keep. And I'm very active, and I love food. But I don't eat unhealthy. I don't eat fried, and I don't eat like crazy. I don't eat Coke. I don't eat sugary stuff. I'm very health conscious. So yeah, it's about the health more than anything.
Shenaz. So I relate with this lady on the back because literally you've been a part of my youth.
Oh, thank you.
And it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
So I'm in academia and I do meet a lot of young girls who definitely go through these paths. One thing I would definitely like to applaud you for is that you have added humor to all of your anecdotes. And the moment you add humor, I think it's much more easier for you to, I won't say move on, but make that as a part of your life because somewhere they remain a part of your life. And it's such an inspiration today. I was just thinking that I might be gifting this book to my college-going daughter.
Oh, yay.
And since
That's really lovely.
Thank
Mission
you.
accomplished.
Thank you. That makes me feel good.
I've not followed you for your vlog years, but you are
Thank
a very
you.
fresh memory from your MTV days.
Thank you.
So all the best for
How
future.
sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you know what? Speaking about putting humor, I think that's the best way to get over something. Or you're going through some struggle in life and then you just make a joke out of it. It actually feels much lighter.
Another gem of wisdom, however you try to deny it.
Age.
Because that's very important in this current scenario to connect humor with, because we have a lot of setbacks in life. I have another question.
Yeah.
Hi, Shenaz.
Hi,
Myself,
hi.
Namita.
I love seeing like these girls sitting
Yeah,
over
that's
there.
what I just wanted one of them to ask a
Yeah,
question.
me too. I was waiting.
So it's not a question, okay? I've watched you through my when I was in college or later college. Your producer, MTV Most Wanted Sajid is a friend of mine. Which one? Sajid.
Oh,
yeah. So they used to
Sajid.
tell me about you.
Oh
and then,
my
yeah.
god. He knows about my breakup with MTV.
No, Shenaz, she was the one who told me, oh my god, I'm waiting for her to come down. She's one of the
really?
persons.
Thank you.
Yeah. So since you said that you're planning to make a movie, maybe Sajid should make it.
Oh, how sweet. Yes, thank you. Where is he now? Where is he now?
Oh,
That's
no,
the
he's
child.
not-
That's the thing
he
in my
was-
book.
He was here and he's coming up with a movie, Vadakkan.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's
He
coming
lives
with-
here.
No, he lives in Bombay. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's not a question. I'm so happy to see you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I've
so
heard so
much.
much about you from him.
Oh, that's nice. He was very, very sweet. Say hi to him.
So you're gonna get one. I am also getting signed. Yeah. So is there more questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Shenaz.
Hi,
Myself,
hi.
I'm Arjun.
Hi, Arjun.
So, I just wanted to bring up a concern. Is the book really representative of the LGBTQI community?
Yes, can also be because we all go through breakup. I don't feel like this book is only for women.
No,
Although
it,
women seem
you
to love
have
it.
written about
Yeah,
it.
but I think LGBTQ, yeah.
Yeah, you have a character actually.
Which one?
I mean, there is someone who has, who comes to approaches you. There's another woman, but you clearly tell, it's not that I'm not against
and then
it.
she and that girl become best friends.
Yeah,
it
best
is because it's a human experience. We all go through breakups. We all go through heartbreaks, and so she does go through. I mean, she does. I mean, I think even in fact, I have a lot of gay friends, and they all love the book because they all feel like, oh my god, and they're the ones who are screaming and because they're like, oh my god, I love this book. Oh my god. So I think you can read it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is within any gender. It's not connected with any of that. You can even reverse roles on that.
You can reverse roles, exactly. It's told from a female point of view, but it could be anybody because everyone goes through this in life.
Yes. So one, yeah.
Hi, Shenaz. So I'm Aparna. I'm an educationist and I'm a relationship therapist too. So,
wow.
So there are a lot of people who come to me after breakup. So I was just
God.
asking Namita, can I recommend this book to them? So that
Yes, please. Please recommend
half
this
the
book.
time what I
It's
struggle with is what you have left out. I mean, in the sense the weeping stage and the stage that they don't want to address.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
missing out in the book. So
Yes.
maybe they can just flip the pages
and
then
see, I mean, this is just to remind you that there's a next chapter.
Absolutely.
There's
So
always
maybe-
going to be somebody else.
Yes, so maybe I'll try recommending it.
Yes, yes. And believe me, I've also been to relationship therapists with boyfriends on my own after breakup. So yeah, you're playing a very important role in society for sure. But yes, you can recommend it.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and there's always like I think the therapist always asks you, now, what did you learn? What was your part to play in this? What do you think you did wrong?
Correct,
Or,
correct,
so
correct.
we've addressed all of that. And because I've been through therapy and everything a lot, so I kind of like it comes out in the book. Also, this whole thing about attachment styles is in the book. You know, avoidant, anxious, all of that, and how we can flip the roles. Like, how come sometimes you can be anxious, sometimes anxious attachment style, and if the guy is avoidant, then you, if you're the guy's anxious attachment style, suddenly you become avoidant attachment style. So
Yeah, and then half of the people who come to me, they tell me that they're not in a relationship, but in a situationship.
Right.
So as a therapist, I had to learn what situationship was.
Can you tell us all what situation?
She has written about it. She's used
But
that
I want to hear the therapist say what it is.
So it depends on person to person and what makes them comfortable at that point in time. And then, like you said, it's the idea of the person and not the person. So you have an idea. See, I've been married to the same person for the last 23 years.
Wow, you deserve a round of applause.
Nami's classmate.
Okay.
And like you said, I think we grew up together because we met in college. We tried figuring out ways. There was a time when we really felt that things are not working out. And then we took a break. And then we tried understanding ourselves as individuals before we kind of came together again. So I was also wondering, when we were talking, how much of that time do we actually give ourselves in a relationship to figure things out, to kind of understand and see how much of us can of me can evolve into another person in a relationship, because it's all about that. And if I have to be a relationship therapist, and I should also see people from different angle, different perceptions, and different colors. It can't be just binary and linear. So my own primary relationship has helped me that way in kind of understanding. And then what we have kind of made sure in our relationship is that there is no coming together with our interest. We have both different spaces, and we don't question each other about what we are into and why we are doing this. So that has helped us a lot. I'm very clear about. And another thing is, I don't ever think that he knows my bank balance or I know his bank balance. So that's very important. That's very, very important. So when I go to colleges and when I tell students that financial independence is the first thing that a woman should need and should fight for. But sadly, half the times, girls do not want that. That's also a reality. In a marriage, the first thing that they would want to ask is, how financially secure the man is, instead of asking themselves how financially secure I am.
So I think I'll wrap up with that point, Shenaz, because again, the financial mindset in the current scenario is very important. Now that we're wrapping up, this is going to be Valentine's Day soon. So Shenaz already told me, young girls can, there's one question, but I think you can always connect with her back. There's going to be a session at the House of the Books later at 6 o'clock where she'll be reading. And you'll be there for signing as well. You're around, right? So we can always connect with her later. Thank you so much, Shenaz. Please have your last word.
Thank you so much.
I would love to have you speaking your last word to the audience.
I'll address to what she said was, how you grow in a relationship as well, and how you can, it's a lot of work. Relationships are work. It's all about that. If someone thinks like, oh, I fall in love and end happily ever after, we've been told lies in the storybooks, because it's all work and understanding ourselves, understanding somebody else. It's constant. It's a lot of that. And the last word in this book is there's always hope, because if it doesn't end well, it's okay. You go through the crying phase, you go through all of that, and then one day you wake up and there's somebody new.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience, a very engaged audience. Thank you, Shenaz, for being here. You're going to sign my book, by the way. I have already got one. Thank you.